Hello and welcome to the Odoo training for the accounting section. My name is Mohammed, and today we are going to talk about the accounting module, and we are going to cover today the chart of account configuration, customer and vendor management, bank and cash management, bank reconciliation, payment processing, journal entries and adjustment, multi-currency operations, tax management, fixed asset, budget management, financial reports, and analytics, and intercompany transaction, and about the smart buttons functionalities, which is actually available under the invoicing, purchase, or bills, or in customer or vendors. And we will talk about the integration with the other modules. So let's get started. So when we sign in and we go into the home screen of the system for Odoo, you will see the accounting module over here. In this particular accounting is an accounting module. It can be renamed as an invoice in somehow in other systems, but the 90% chances you will see it as an accounting over here. We click it over here, and this main screen which you will see is the dashboard. This dashboard is actually showing you the actively used journals inside of it, like the vendor bills, customer invoices, if there is any tax adjustment, or the bank cash or salaries. So the first thing first, we will go into our configuration and settings. Right now, the company is actually exist in UAE, so the United Arab Emirates package is already selected under the physical localization. Then we have the initial setup. If we have to import the opening balance or the chart of account, we can import it from here, or we can review the end of year balances from here. The company which is actually exists in the UAE, it has a default sales tax as a 5%, which we call it as a VAT, and the purchase is a 5%. Just to make it sure that the company exists in the way, so whatever sales they are going to do, it will be having the 5% DB tax. DB tax is the way tax. Then we have the tax returns. Periodically, by default, we select it at a quarterly. It will send you the reminder before 7 days. And the journal which it will use, it will be the tax adjustment journal that we will discuss it later on. Then we have the rounding method. The rounding method, it means that whether we are going to round off a line in the invoice or in purchase order or in the bills, or we want to round off as per the globally. So it is as per your decision. You can actually change it as per the round or globally or as per the round line. Then we have the EU intra distance selling that we don't need to discuss about this thing at this time because the company is in the UAE. Physical country, UAE already selected. And then we have the cash basis. If you have done the transaction under the cash, then you can actually configure the taxes from here as per the cash. Now we have the corporate tax, the liability accounts for the tax report for the counterpart of the account. That you need to select it from here under the chart of account. How the chart of accounts are actually working, we will discuss it today. If the company is actually dealing with the multi-currencies, like for example, they are actually dealing with the EU or Euro or in the USD along with the AED, so we can add the multiple currencies from here. But right now, that since we are actually using only AED under this particular company, then we will be only selecting the AED from here. Then we have the automatic currency rates. It's actually attached with it's actually collect the currency rate from the central bank and populate it on your in your ERP Odoo. But if you want to use the manual, currency rate, then you have to uncheck this particular box. Or if you want that it has to configured as automatic, it you can you can select this particular part. Here it's actually saying that the service which we are using is the Central Bank of the UAE. Interval is manual. You can change into the automatic, sorry, daily, weekly, or whatever. And the next run means that it's actually perform a cron job, fetch the data from the UAE Central Bank and populate it over here when it has to run. Usually it's actually run every day. But if you want to run it manually, you can specify the time and date over here. So you can actually, you will have the particular dates area over here. You can select it and it can run at that particular time as well. Then we have the customer invoices. Under the customer invoices, you can print them in the color. This is about the setting of your printer. If you want to have the printer available from the both side, which can print from the both side, you can select that particular side. If you have want to add a cover page before the invoice, you can select the cover page address. And since the customers can have the multiple addresses, so you can actually select the address as well where you are actually sending the invoice. For example, the customer exists in Abu Dhabi, but you want to invoice him in the way, so you have to select the other address for the customer, which will be indicating the invoice which we are sending to the customer is actually for the Dubai. If you have certain customers, for example, your accountant actually make an invoice and you want that the certain warning should be generated to the higher management or some specific people, you have to enable this particular option. Then again, the cash rounding. The cash rounding is actually the smallest coin of the currency used to pay by the cash. When somebody is paying into the cash and there are certain amounts which are not available inside the UAE. For example, let's say five fails or three fails, and the invoice is 100 dirham and three fails. So you can round it up as per your convenience. Maybe you can make it 101 or 100 exactly. So then we have the default Incoterms. You have to select the Incoterms or you have to create the Incoterms from here. Sale receipt, if you are making any sales, you have and you want the system to generate and a sale receipt, it will be from here. Sale credit limit, if your customers have you are offering them some sort of the credit limit, let's say 1,000, 10,000, or 100,000, maybe less. So you have to select this particular option. It will allow you to create an invoice and send a request for the payment under that limit. But if you are actually getting over limit from the customer is getting over limit, it will indicate the warning for you and it will not let you to sell it. So it as so this particular option you can select as part of your convenience. Then we have the total amount in letters. So if you want to print the total amount, let's say 100 dirham, in the figures it's already showing into the invoices, but you want to print it as in the letters as well, you have to select this option. So by default, it is actually selected. The default taxes, since the company is existing in the UAE, so we are expecting they are dealing in AED. But if you are actually working outside of the UAE, the taxes in the company currency will be appear over there. So right now the base currency is AED, so they will be appearing into the AED. And the final, since the company is actually the construction company, so it might be possible the invoice is generated from the project side with the project manager or the quality control or the engineers, they can actually generate the invoice. But if you want that when the invoice is being generated, there must be an authorized signatory will be available. So you have to select this option and then you have to select the particular person from here who is responsible for the signing the invoices. Then we have the unit of measures. Default unit of measures are already available, but you can actually change the unit of measure as per your convenience, but you have to make it sure the unit of measures must be exist under the same domain. For example, for the length, we are using feet or the meters. So whatever the conversion we are doing, we are making a new, the unit of measure. It has to be under the length. So it can interconvert to each other. Like for example, the centimeter can be converted into the meters, or meters can be converted into the centimeters. And then we have the customer payment, invoice online payment. We have checked this particular option, but it is not actually required in the UAE. You have to do it. You have to do the payment manually. Manually, when we are saying, it's mean either the online transfer or deposited in your company account, or the payment is coming through the check. So that has to be there. And you can register the batch payments at the same time. Uh, uh, when you are, for example, let's say there are three invoices and the customer is offering you four or five payments, so the batch of the payments can be registered against certain invoices. In the same times, under the vendor bill, we have the purchase recipients that can be that you have to enable it over here, because if you are purchasing something and you're paying the bill to the customer as to the vendor, at the same time you want to print the receipt, you can print it from here. And then auto validate bills. Somehow we keep it option available now. You can actually change it. The auto validation means that if somebody is purchasing something, and it will be validated automatically. But since we have added the purchase requisition app inside of it, so whether you check or uncheck this one, it's not gonna make a huge difference, because eventually when you are purchasing something from the other side for certain project, it has to go to the through the certain processes, like the internal management. They will review it, then it will go to the main head office management, and from there the main manager will approve it, and then it will go to the purchase guys to create the POs that we will discuss. So it's totally up to you. You want to keep it or you want to uncheck this one. This predict vendor bill, we actually keep it unchecked because the vendors can be changed, and we don't need to predict the system to generate the vendor bill by itself. Though it's do not generate a validated vendor bill, but it can generate into the draft mode, which you can change it. So as per your convenience, you can actually check this one. Then under the vendor payment, we have the printing of the checks available. If you want to print the check from the system, you can print it from here. And if you want to transfer, credit transfer under the ISO 20022, you can do it from here. But since the company is not in the euros, it doesn't make any sense to select this one. Then we have the document digitalization. You can scan your documents, like for example, the vendor bill, you can scan and upload it. The system has a capability to scan and upload it and merge it into the billing section, and maps the fields appropriately. So we have enabled this option for you. You can use this one. Then the bank statement, it's digitalized automatically and do not digitalize. The bank statement means that there is a bank reconciliation is available inside the system. So you can upload your bank statement, and later on you can actually verify whether it's working, because there are some entries are missing, or somehow you can actually manage that. So we keep it as a digitalized automatically. And again, for the vendor bill, we also have the digitalized automatically available. Under the single invoice line per tax. What does it mean? That, for example, from a one vendor, we are purchasing a certain products. Some of the products, there is the VAT enabled on it, and some of the products might not, there will be any VAT available on it. For example, the stationery we are purchasing from a vendor, whereas we are purchasing some of the stuff from the vendor as well. For the stationery, there is no taxes available. It's not applicable. So under the invoice on each line of when we are writing it over there, name of the product, the unit of wear, the quantity, and the subtotal and the price over there, including taxes. Over there, you will have an option available whether you can remove the tax or you can change the tax as well. So here we have some default accounts already selected over here for the deferred revenue, bank transaction, exchange differences, and the different deferred expenses. You can change it as according to your procedures. But just for example, why we have to have a default access is actually save our time while we are actually making any journal entry or making any transaction. So how is it actually working? For example, your customer exists in the UAE and you're expecting he is going to pay in AED, but somehow he do not have the AED currency. He's going to pay you in through the USD account. So you send him the invoice. And with the invoice, when he is sending you the USD amount, so there is an exchange difference always happening over there. So either the customer or you have to bear, as a company, you have to bear the currency difference account, the currency difference, which is whatever is happening over there. So that has to go either into the profit account or into the loss account. So we have selected the gain and the loss account straight away from here. So we do not do the manual things later on. So you can review this one and you can actually change it as according to your need. Then we have the stock evaluation. Income account and expense accounts is already selected over here. But since under the inventory, I told you, you can actually change it as per your convenience. Then we have the bank reconciliation. So if you want to import any kind of a bank statement, which format is actually suitable for you, Odoo is providing XLS, XLS, X, and CSV format. You can import in these any of the format and you can use this one. OFX, I'm gonna uncheck this one, and the CMG import, we're gonna uncheck this one. We will actually select do it later on. And the physical period, we expecting your physical period is actually ending at the 31st of December, and on the 1st of the January, whatever the open entries, they will be moved forward to the next year. So if you have the different physical year, you can actually define your own year from here. And but by default, we have selected as end of December. It's also help you to generate the audit report as per the overall year. Since your company is involved in the project management, so under the project management, you can actually see certain project management profit and loss reports, the trial balances, their balance sheet as well. And it is only possible if you have enabled the analytical accounts. So here we already have by default checked this one, margin analysis and the budget management. We are actually providing you with the different functionality. You don't need to select it from here. And then we have the reporting. Add the subtotal at the below section. For example, the balance sheet, if you want to, there must be subtotal at the bottom of the in reporting. You can select this one. It will provide you the subtotal for the debit or the credit or in the minus or in the positive. Strono accounting, you guys are not using, so it's not actually required. And accounting firm mode, if you want to, the accounting firm mode, we actually keep it disabled. So whatever the document is actually being generated for the customer invoices or the vendor bill, it has and it's being validated. So it's mean we cannot change its number. So it is for the internal security, we keep it disabled. And then we have the audit trail. If we activate the audit trail, it will, once the audit trail is enabled, it cannot be disabled again if you are any existing open journal items are actually available. So this particular part undergoing into the accounting and the configuration, you will see the settings. These settings are actually available over here, all of the settings. So now we have the payment terms under the invoicing section. Say this one first. So by default, immediate payment terms 15 days, 21 days, 45 days, 10 days after the next month, 35%. And these kind of payment terms are already available over there. But if you want to create your new payment terms, you have to click on the new button and name the payment term over here, and then mention it that how you are working. For example, the 100% payment, immediate 100% payment after 30 days. So it will work. We actually make the 100% payment, but here we are selecting the 100% and the day after number of days, when the invoice has been generated, we can follow up for the payment for after the 100 days. So you can create your own payment terms as well. The help is also provided over here. You can actually see that when it's going to be implementable. It's totally up to you how many payment terms you actually require. You can actually add the multiple payment terms in a one payment term as well. For example, the 10% in advance and the remaining amount after the completion of the project, or maybe something like that. But since we are it's in a construction company, so we already have provided the progress payment as well. Then we have the follow-ups. The follow-ups means that after certain times when you guys didn't receive the payment or haven't sent the payment, so how the follow-up will work. But since we are in the invoicing section, so it's mean we have to follow up for the payment from the customer. Let's say the invoice has been generated and it's an immediate payment. So in the same time, if the payment is not registered, the next day you will receive a follow-up. And under the follow-up, you have to mention that why the payment is not being received. The payment is being received, the follow-up will automatically disable. Then we have the bank accounts. You can have a multiple bank accounts at the same time. If we click it over here, some default accounts are already available inside of the system. For example, the Merchant Bank is already available. So whether it's a personal or the other bank, it's totally up to you how you're going to use this one. But for example, HSBC, the corporate account or the business accounts is available. I'm going to connect this one. Since these banks are actually exist inside the UAE, but for the security reasons, it's not possible. You can generate the payment straight away from here and then you can actually send it to the customers. You have to send the payment uh, to the vendor by signing in. But here, it's just only the option available that you can add it over here. How we are going to add the bank accounts, I will actually explain you in detail how we can add it. And then we have the reconciliation models. Right now, these invoices, bills, material, match unpaid payments, these all the reconciliation are actually models are available. Which model is actually suitable for you? You have to select that one. For example, right now the invoices and the bill perfect match is actually available over here, which we believe that you guys are actually going to use it. If you are using like the consolidation at the start of the process, billing creation, you can actually select it from there and it will reconcile it at that time. Then we have the chart of accounts. Right now, 171 chart of accounts are already available inside of your system. But if you want to use your own chart of account, you can actually create it and you can import it as well. How the chart of account we need are actually working here. It's the same kind of procedure like if the person is actually very familiar with the QuickBook or the Tally or any other accounting system. In the same way, it's actually work. How to create the new chart of account? You have to select, then click on the new, give him the code, and select the account, add the account name over here, and then the account type, whether it's coming under the assets, liability, equity, profit and loss, income, expense, whatever is that. And then we have a button available over here, whether it's going to be reconciled automatically. And then later on, we have to select it, whether it is this particular chart of account is active for which currency. It's a USD or Egyptian pound or AED. And which company is going to use this particular account. We have to select the company. And there you go, your chart of account will become created. If we view any chart of account, for example, any kind of account, for example, test account, we're gonna open this one. Here we see it's a bank and a cash account. Default taxes, if we enable it over here, any kind of a transaction will be coming inside of it. You will see the tag over there where with this particular tax. And if we keep the allowed journals empty, it's mean this chart of account will be activate in every kind of a journal. But if we select it like, for example, the tax adjustment journal, so it will be only available for the tax adjustment journal. Then we have the accounting currency. Obviously, it's an AED, but if you can change it from here to the other active currencies. And if this chart of account is actually attached with your assets, so there is an depreciation is happening, so you can select this particular checkbox from here. Under this chart of account, whatever the transactions are going to be happen, it will give you a complete debit and credit reports by clicking this particular smart button. So coming back to the chart of account, in these chart of accounts, right now it's showing all of the active chart of accounts. It's actually categorized with the one. All of the one chart of accounts are available over here. Then we have the two and coming under the liability. All of the two chart of accounts are available over here. And if we are selecting the four chart of accounts, all chart of accounts are available over here. So you can actually manage these chart of account as per of your convenience. Then we have the journals. When the any kind of a transaction is going to be happen, it actually have to go through with a certain journal. We have the tax adjustment journal, which come by default, the customer invoices also coming over there, vendor bills, the banks, miscellaneous operation, any kind of an expense which is happening is usually encountered with the miscellaneous operation. And then we have an exchange difference journal, cash basis tax, then we have cash journal, same like in a bank journal, but here we can actually, under the cash, we can actually create the multiple petty cash accounts as well. And then we have the inventory valuation, IFRS 16, and the salaries journal. So, for example, if we are going to open any journal, this is a journal. So, what might be the bank account selected from the chart of account will be here. The suspense account, profit account, and the loss account will be selected it over here. And if it is actually dedicated payment sequence, yes, we have to have a dedicated payment sequence. And the sequence will be starting from the BNK1. So BNK1 means that this is that particular sequence when we are actually giving the money to the customer or to the supplier or getting the money from the customer and we are generating any kind of receipt against that payment. This particular the sequence which will be actually available on the PDF or on the report, it will be starting from the BNK1. So normally we actually recommend our customers that whenever you guys are going to create any kind of a bank over here, so make it sure the bank, for example, it's HSBC. So it's allow you to add four characters over here. So you have to select the HSBC. If it is a Barclays Bank, so BARCL is a Barclays Bank. So it is as per your convenience. You can actually select it from there. Then on the right side, there is so the account number we have to add over there. It's when we are saying the account number, it's mean the bank account number we need to add it over here. Since the bank account from the chart of account is 101001, under the incoming payment, you'll see it over here 101001 is actually selected here. It's an outstanding receipt. And outgoing payment is also 101001 is also selected over here. If we do not select this account when we are creating a new bank account and we do not select it over here when we are closing that particular invoice or multiple any kind of a bill, it will actually show us that the payment is actually in payment. I mean, it's actually in the suspense account. So we have to move it from the suspense account to our 101001. So it is better whenever you are creating in a bank, whatever the chart of account you actually select it over here, make it sure it has to be available under the outstanding as well. And then we have the advanced setting. Under the advanced settings, we have the allowed account. Just keep it empty because it might be possible there is a PTC payable is going out from here. The receivable PTC is actually coming in. So we just keep it empty. But if we are not going to keep it empty, we select a certain account from here. So that particular account will be actually having an operation on it. The rest of the other accounts will not actually have an operation on it. So whatever the journal entries are happening under the bank journals, you can see all those journal entries from here as well. So under the configuration, if we will go to the taxes and the taxes, all of the physical country taxes will be available for you. These are the taxes. If there is a new tax gonna come in, and you can add that tax as well. But for example, I'm going to open for the sales tax, 5%. How is it actually working? So first the name is showing it over here. The tax computation is a percentage or fixed or somehow. So here VAT is actually percentage. The type of a tax is either sale, purchase or none. The tax scope is showing it's a service or it's a good. So since in the UAE on both service and goods are tax is applicable, so keep it as an empty. The amount under the percentage is showing that the 5%. So if it's going to be changed, you can change it from here. So, and the distribution for the invoices is like this, that the base is going from the way and the account and the 100% of the tax is coming under your liability account, which is the VAT output account, which is over here. And the distributions of the refund is working in this way, that from the output is actually getting into the minus, and from the base is actually showing under the Dubai. Under the advanced options, we say that the 5% tax. If we say that the 5% Dubai tax, then this will be the 5% Dubai tax. And the description on the invoice is actually showing the 5% Dubai tax. Tax group is called the 5% VAT. Include into the analytic cost. Under the budgeting, if you want to include it, you can include it. At by default, we do not actually include this one under the analytic. Which company is actually liable for this particular tax? It's actually Alcoara LLC, and the country is the United Arab Emirates. If they want to write any legal notes over here, you can write any legal notes over here. And include the price. Included in the price, somehow some of the products or the companies, they are actually working in this way. For example, the fuel station price is already included into their products. But if we keep it as an by default, it will be showing giving us both options, included and tax excluded. But if we are keeping it tax included, so it's mean every the items we are selling and we are making invoice against that one, it's mean it's including that the price. So keep it by default. So you can generate any kind of a new text from here. All of the possible taxes are already available and configured, but if you want to change it, you can change any of the text. Let's say you want to change the chart of account, inside the chart of account, the tax liability or the tax receivable you want to change, that you can change it from here. That depends on the new chart of account you guys will be creating. And if you want to create the new tax account, just click on the new, it will open that option for you. You can create the new tax account from tax from here. So now we are going to move towards that the customer side. Under the customer, we have the invoices, credit notes, receipts, payment, batch payment, registration, or the product and the customers. So how we are going to create in a customer? The customer or under the vendor, there are the vendors as well, are actually created in the same way. But the only issue is this, that under the customer, we are actually expecting the payments or the credit notes, and under the vendor, we are expecting to deliver the payments or we are expecting refunds from there. But the creation of the customer or a vendor is the same way. You can create the subcontractor as well in the same way because they are actually providing you a, they are actually providing you the services and they are actually considered as your vendor or your supplier, so you can create in the same way. So how we are going to manage those customer vendors and the suppliers and our the subcontractors, that we're going to discuss about this thing. So for example, if I'm going under the customer and last option is a customer. So these are the customers that actually been already have been created. So for example, I open a binary-based technology services. Under the binary-based technology services, since this is a company, so the company will be selected, its name, its address, as per the license, and along with that, we have to have its VAT number as well available over here. The telephone number, mobile number, email address, and the website address if it is available. So this one in the particular tags, the tags are actually making your life easy to identify what type of a customer is this one. For example, this is not a customer, it's actually created as an vendor. So I say it's a customer, but the customer, first I select customer, it's created, and it's a villa customer. So it's mean if we want to take a report, so we can actually create a report through the tags as well. How many villa customers we have, how many customers we have, how many the customers who are actually involved into the high-rise building we have. So we just only have to mention the tags. Then we have the supplier ID. Whatever you want to add it over there, you can add it over there. Underneath over here, we can have the multiple addresses for the customers. For example, the first address is a contact name, Muhammad, the director, and his email address. And the second address, which is written at the Noman, he is actually, this particular address is actually showing that this is also an invoicing address. So if you want to send an invoice, you can invoice him from here. By pressing the add button, you can create his delivery address, you can create the invoice address, follow-up address, whatever you want to create, you can create it from here. On the top, there are, first of all, how many meetings we have with this particular customer or with vendor, or we can create a new meeting from here. If there is any opportunities being coming under the CRM from the Bandwidth Technology Services, it will show it over here. Then how many times we actually make a sale to the binary technology services. Under the numbers, it will show the number of sales. And then how much is amount we already have invoiced him. That will be showing if there is any task in which the binary technology services has been involved, the number of tasks will be showing it over here. And if the binary technology services is acting as a vendor, so here we have the how many times we have purchased from him. On time rate, we don't need to actually activate this one because it's actually showing that if the vendor, this is a customer or this is a vendor and the delivery is involved in that one. So the international companies like the DHL or the Forex, how much they are actually charging for the delivery. Under the more section, there are the documents can be attached with the binary bridge technology services. These documents can be anything like a specification of the project or maybe BOQ, BOM, and MS or any kind of an IDs or any kind of a specification, shop drawings, they can be added from here. How many times we actually make an estimate for the binary bridge technology services? This will show the numbers as well. And if the binary based technology services is in a subcontractor, so how many times we actually provided him the jobs, and how many times we actually created the RFIs for him, and if this was customer, this particular company, binary based technology services, is your vendor, so we have generated the IPC certificate for him. It's a interim payment certificate. So in the same way, you guys are actually creating the vendors as well. But the only thing as per the accounting section, you have to make it sure under the accounting, you have to select its receivable and the payable account. It's not about the receivable and the payable account for the binary technology. So it's about the company, your own company. If we are creating an invoice, so which receivable account should be hitting at the same time? By default, whatever we have set it over there, so 102011 is selected over there. But if you want to change it, you can change it as per your convenience. At the same time, if we are creating a credit note for this particular customer, so from where we are actually doing the selecting the payable accounts. So you have to select the payable account. So these two options you may need to add while you are actually, as per the accounting, you are working on this thing. So in the same way, we can actually create the vendor as well. We can actually create the customer as well. If this particular is not our customer, it's a vendor. So what we can actually suggest him for him, maybe he is our subcontractor. So if you want to generate the reports as per the subcontractors, how many subcontractors are there, you can actually have an easy way to generate the tags, and against those tags, you can actually get the reports. So this is the way we are actually creating our customers and our vendors. Now, coming back over here, like the journal entries, under the accounting, you will see an option available for under the menu. It's called the journal entries. The journal entries are Odoo is actually following the two-way entries. For example, if you are actually debiting at somewhere, so there must be somewhere we are actually crediting. So I open a one entry over here. Here, this account is actually selected. This is the partner, some annual payment, and it's debited 0.01 AED. At the same time, from a certain account, it's actually being credited. So underneath over here, we can see that the debit and credit are balanced over here. So if we click on the accounting under the journal entries and create the new, so we can actually create the journal entry straight away from here. If we have to create a manual journal entry, but there are few things you need to remember over here. First is the name of the journal entry that you have to add it over here. If it is a vendor, then you can select the IPC, issued IPC. If there is not any issue IPC, you can keep it empty. The reference is kind your memo. It's working as in your as of your memo. So memo, you can actually register it or put any information over here that will be reflecting on your journal and your journal entry recipe. Underneath over here, you have to select an account first. Let's say the PDC available. How much is the amount is we're going to debit? Let's say 12. At the same time, when we will be going to selecting another account, for example, from where it will be credited, for example, bank, it will be credited. So automatically the 12 will be written over here to match the address. Then we have the accounting date on which date this item will be reflecting in our accounting. So that is we have to select from here and which journal we are choosing, whether this is a tax adjustment, some miscellaneous operation, or it is actually inventory valuation, we're giving the salaries, or it's kind of an invoice. Against the invoice, we are getting the payment. So you have to select these options from here. So under the accounting, the second option is the PDC items. When you click on the PDC item, it will show all of the journal entries has been made inside the system. And if you want to open any journal entry, you can open it directly from here. These are the same. These are can be your expense. You can generate it invoices, or you register the payment against any invoice. So all of the journal items will be showing it over here. So in the same way, we have the PDCs, accounting entries, the transfers we made, the analytic items. Analytic items means that it's actually our projects. Then we have the assets, budgets, loans, reconciles, the log date, and the secure entries. So all of these things from here we can actually see that how the assets are actually working. When we say that how the assets are actually working, go into the assets and click under the new. Under the new, you have to write down the name of the asset. What was its original value? Maybe 1000 dirham. And its book value will automatically come as in 1000. So it's actually acquisition date is showing that it's actually been acquired today. So if we're going to change it, let's say it's on the 4th, so it's going to be, it was actually acquired a month, 1 day before, so you can do that one. Asset model is not actually created yet. You can create the asset models. How the asset models are actually working. Any kind of asset. For example, the office uses, stationery, they can be coming under the same asset. The heavy machineries can have the asset model as a heavy machinery. The vehicles, they can coming under the vehicle model. The thing is that if we are actually making any kind of depreciation or appreciation under that model, all of the items which are available under that model will follow the same rule. The depreciation will be after 3 years, after 4 years, and what will be the value, the percentage, the depreciation of the particular product. It will be acting as per the model. And then we have the depreciation method. The depreciation method is acting as a straight line. It's a decline with a straight line, whatever you want to choose. Normally we choose it from here, the straight line. Duration is a 5 year, or it's coming under the months, then we can actually make it to the 60 months. So it will be acting as a per month depreciation. So and the composition is either is a constant period or it's based on the days of the per period. So normally we select it as a constant period. The pro rata date is at 1201 because we actually acquired it was the first of the month. So next it will be the first of the next month. So the fixed asset account we have to select it from here as per your chart of account. Depreciation account we have to select it over here. If there is any expenses happening on this particular asset, we have to select it from here. Just make it sure it should not be the cost of goods sold because that is actually acting under the projects as well. So yeah, if you think that it is also the part of the cost of the goods sold, you probably need to create another cost of the goods sold uh, account under the chart of account. And the journal we are selected, we can select it as per our understanding, whatever the journal is that. If we click on the search mode, all of the journals are available. So by default, we actually select it on the miscellaneous operation. And analytic distribution says that this particular laptop at the moment is actually on which place. For example, it's being actually used in certain project. So it is actually used in the certain project. So it's mean whenever we are going to calculate its depreciation and any kind of expenses happening and we are creating the report for any project like profit and loss report or the balance sheet, its depreciation will be also appear over there in the same account, in the same report. Then we have the depreciated amount. For example, this particular laptop, we didn't purchase it now, we purchased it about a couple of years ago. So we can actually give him the depreciated amount from here. And if this is a vehicle, then we have to select the model. But right now it's not on a vehicle, it's just an office use, so we can actually use it. If we save this particular thing and then we press it, it's not letting me to save this one because it's actually required to have these two accounts available. But after this, selecting these accounts, I'm not going to select this one because this is a brand new system and any kind of an entry will be happening to the chart of account will take a time to reverse it. But what is the next step? I can actually let you know. If you press on the compute depreciation, it will give you all of the depreciation for the 6 month and then will be the option available to post journal entries. So the next time you do not need to post the journal entry, entries will be automatically imported over there. Then we have under the accounting, the reconcile. So these entries by default can be available on the auto reconcile, but for some of the entries you may require to reconcile it later on. It'll actually give you an option to how to reconcile it. For example, this account receivable, we probably created an invoice, and under that invoice we actually received part of the money as well. If we click on the auto reconcile, it will reconcile the next time automatically. If we have make any kind of the purchase order and our payable is actually activated, so if we press the auto reconcile, the next time the payable will be auto reconciles by itself. So this is a reconciliation models as per the general items to reconcile it. It's actually it's available for you. You can use it as per of your convenience. So under the accounting, you will see over here there is a budgets. So the budgets you can actually create the multiple budgets for the multiple options maybe for the project. How much is the budget you're actually going to assign it? For the office use, how much is the budget you are assigning? And who is responsible to fulfill this particular budget. For example, a site supervisor. So you told him that this much of the amount is only used for the site office for the next 3 months or 4 months. So that's why you will have the start date and the end date as well. So here, when we are actually allocating a budget, so it's automatically let the other options available for the entities. For example, you're creating an expense, you're creating an purchase, so that will be under the same budget it will be creating. So it is going to help you to keep track of the budget. You want to create the new budget over here, click on the new. It will ask you the budget name and the budgetary position. Analytic account, it means it is actually involved into the certain project, start date, end date, planned amount, maybe 100,000, practical amount, maybe 90,000, and the theoretical amount, it's probably be 120,000. So how many achievements have been done under the same amount, it will be showing it over here. I mean, you have to select it from when you are adding the line. So you can create your budget as per your convenience and as per your entities, the way you want it. For example, for the office, head office, you probably have an 150,000 of a budget. The salaries should go from the same budget, or any kind of a purchase gonna come from here, or expense gonna go from the same budget for the 2 months. So it's mean the budget start date is the 1st of the December, the end date is the 31st of the January. So it's gonna cover the 2 months from here. In the same time, if you have a new project and the project is actually 1 year old for the site, you are allocating approximately 1 million a budget over there. So all expense and the project purchases will be happening from the same budgeting at that same time. So it will let you know how much is the balance available with you for that calculated budget. And if you are going over the budget, then it will give you an alarm, kind of a warning that this particular budget is going to be finished because there are certain unexpected activities happen over there. We were not actually expecting this kind of a purchase or expense going to be happen, but it's already happened. So we are under the budget, we are going on the straight line, or we are over budget. So this is going to help you to create the budget. This is the module under the accounting, and you'll see the budgets over there. So the next is the reporting. We do have the balance sheets. There are two type of reporting. You will see it over here. And both are almost same reporting, but one is Odoo default reporting. For example, the partner ledger, agent receivable, these are the Odoo default reporting. General ledger, if we are going to open it, this is the default reporting. All of these reporting you will see on the top over here, there is a search button, there is as per date, and the journals we selected. If we do not select any journal, it will show all of the journals. And if there is any analytic distribution we want to see, for example, like internal project, how much we actually have the as per our internal project, what is the general ledger report? So you can see it from here. If we do not select any kind of an analytics from here, so it's mean it will show us overall. Then we have the draft entries, unfold all, and the cache basis method. If we do not select any of them, it will show us all of the entries. But if we were selecting, let's say, the draft entries, so it will show us all the draft entries. If we want to unfold all of them, then it is going to unfold all of the entries and show us what exactly is inside that particular entry. And then the cache basis method. So if the a transaction is being happening under the caches and you want to see only those entries, that will be showing it over here. Since we actually enable the multi-currency over here, so right now it's showing us as per the AED, but if we want to see in other currencies, we can select the other currency as well. So these reports, they are not only the reports you can, I mean, you can actually download it as a PDF or in the Excel format. But these reports are actually very interactive reports. For example, if I want to see what exactly is happening in this particular journal, we can click on that journal. We can go directly on that particular journal. So for that, if I'll open another report, like say for the trial balance, so this is our trial balance. Account receivable is actually showing 0.08 under the debit. So what I will do, I will click it over here. I will go under the general ledger. It will take me to directly to that ledger or general items. What exactly is happening, those items, it will show us as well. And if I'll go back from here, I want to see and the, and then out the date. So it will actually give me an option. I can write and a certain message over here just to make an when we download this report, it will show us that particular message as well over here. So these reports, these particular reports are also letting you to navigate into that particular journal. For example, I want to see this journal and I'm already over here now into the bank journal. So at the same time, on the top, you will see the same headers, same kind of buttons over here, whether you want to see all of the journals. This comparison is actually if you want to compare from the previous balance and how much is the total balance now available. So it will give you the comparison as well as per the previous date. You can see that the November 2025, what exactly was there? 20, December 2025, what is the ending balance available? So if you want to should make it as a no comparison, then it will give us no comparison. If you want to compare it as per the specific date, so you can select the custom dates from here. So it will give you the custom date comparison as well. So under the reportings, these are the reports are actually available. A balance sheet, profit and loss, cash flow statement, PDC report, tax return reports, the general ledger, general audit report, corporate tax report as well. Receivable, a partner ledger, agent receivable, and agent payable. When we say the partner ledger, the partner Odoo is treating your vendor, your employee, and your customers as a partner for the contract. So if we say, let's say we want to open the partner ledger. So under the partner ledger, you will see this, you can actually get the statement. You can select the partner, specific partner only, or you can select the tags of those partners, like as a customer, main employee, villa, whatever is that. And if we want to take it as a customer statement, you can click on that one. It will give you the customer statement. You can print it straight away from here. And under the posted entries, if you want, it's the same option, the draft entries. Unconciled entries mean that which is not actually being conciled yet. So those entries you can see as well, and you can unfold all of the entries. And if you want to see as per the year 2025, it will show you, or you can select the custom date from date to date. It will actually give you the statement of the account for that particular customer, vendor, or the employees. So you can actually print it as a PDF, as an XLS, and you can send this one to that particular partner, I mean to vendor, to customer, or to your employee directly from here if the email for that particular partner is available. So I'm expecting you guys will go through with all of these options available, and I will see you into the next video, which will be as for the invoicing and for the billing, along with that, how the acquisition is happening. Thank you very much for your time.